What's going on, guys? Steve here with Geek Boulevard. I just got back from checking out the third film in Ty West's X trilogy, MaXXXine, and I'm here to give you my full thoughts on the movie. I will be getting into spoiler territory later in this video, as I don't think I can give my full review without diving into spoilers. So if you want to go into this film as blind as possible, I suggest you skip that part of my review and go to my overall score. I have included timestamps down below so that you can do that, but I will also give fair warning before going into that section as well, so don't worry, you're good. That being said, let's get into my review for MaXXXine. Once again, directed by Ty West, it is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. In 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress MaXXXine Minx finally gets her big break. However, as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Los Angeles, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. Firstly, my positives. I love Mia Goth's performance in this film, and across the whole trilogy, really. And that's very obvious, as she puts a lot of effort into MaXXXine as a character, and just her constant need to be in the spotlight, to crave that attention, to be a star is something that she always felt she was born to be. But there's also this added trauma now, as obviously this film takes place after the events of X. So the events that happened in the first film weigh heavily on her, as she was the only survivor. Spoilers if you haven't seen X. And that trauma lingers. And let's be clear, she's obviously no saint, as MaXXXine is clearly capable of violence to serve her interests. She's not above doing terrible things to get her way, and that is ever more apparent in this third chapter. Mia Goth walks that line very beautifully, so major props to her in her performance. I also admired the way that the film is edited and shot, and it does try to emulate 80s slasher films as much as possible, and since this film takes place in Hollywood, it becomes quite meta in that way, and I think Ty West did fantastic in that department, as he is the editor of this film, while Elliot Roquette returns as the cinematographer from X to kind of keep that sense of creative continuity, just in a different decade this time. Sadly, those are my only positive things that I can say about the film. Everything else, unfortunately, just falls very short, in my opinion. Since this is the end of a trilogy, the budget for this film must have been significantly higher, as there's a lot of high-profile stars in this film that, personally, I feel are only in this just to add more star power to the cast. We have Kevin Bacon, Giancarlo Esposito, Bobby Cannavale, Michelle Monaghan, Halsey even makes an extended cameo as well, if that matters to you. And with the exception of Kevin Bacon's performance, because his character is actually quite important to the plot, they don't really add anything to the plot overall to make it stand out above what the first two accomplished with their plots, with a much smaller cast and a much smaller budget, as both of those films, X and Pearl, were only made with a budget of $1 million apiece. And for most of the film, there is a backdrop of the Night Stalker, who has been going around murdering people in Hollywood, and obviously this is based on the real Night Stalker murders, obviously just in a more fictionalized way. And this is used as a plot device to explain a revelation that happens later in the film, and I'll get to that in the spoiler section. But the way that we get to that destination, it just felt like a lot of tiptoeing around until it was time to just, okay, let's rush to get to the end because we got to wrap up everything. So it definitely threw the pacing off quite a bit for me. We'll be getting into heavy spoilers, so once again, if you don't want these major plot points ruined for you, I highly suggest you skip this section and go to my overall score. The first shot that we get that kicks off MaXXXine is a young MaXXXine who is dancing on home video in 1959, showing off her star power, as, you know, her father, who is briefly seen at the end of X, he's a priest, is talking to her off screen about how she can be a star if she really wants it badly enough. And I started to think, while I was sitting there, I just kept thinking, the Night Stalker's not gonna be her father, is it? No, that would just be too easy. You would think that they would kind of misdirect you at some point. And that feeling just got even stronger with the introduction of Kevin Bacon's character, John Labatt, who is a private eye who is hired by this powerful and mysterious person to kind of keep an eye on MaXXXine. Later in the film, John Labatt gets killed off, and then we find out that this mysterious person, this Night Stalker who's been committing all these murders, is in fact MaXXXine's father. Apparently he's been trying to search for her all these years so that he can rid her of sin once and for all. As I'm sitting there, I kept thinking, wow, they really didn't even try to cover that up at all. I was just really baffled by how there was no effort put in to misdirect the audience into thinking it was this person or that person, only to be, aha, it was this person all along. No, it was her father the whole time. And that lack of effort in hiding that fact was just very frustrating to me. So with all the spoilers out of the way, after all that I've said, I have to give MaXXXine a score of 2 out of 5. A standout performance from Mia Goth, who does a fantastic job with elevating her role of MaXXXine to a different level, and the 80s aesthetic and atmosphere and slasher horror are great as well. But outside of that, the predictable plot, sluggish pacing, bigger cast with not much to show for it, really make this final story in the X trilogy the weakest of the 3 at the end of the day. But what did you guys think of MaXXXine? Have you seen it yet? Have you seen the other 2 films? Where would you rank this one in the trilogy if you had to pick and choose? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and don't forget, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Geek Boulevard, where I react to trailers, I release reviews for new release movies every single week, so stay connected, don't miss out on all of that great content as it comes out. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep it classy and keep it geeky.
You're a fucking movie star.